ספק, אבל להגיד שאנחנו עושים שואה בעזה גם מוזיל את העניין.
100%.
דרך אגב, שאני אמרתי במילה נאצי, התכוונתי לכל הארות, כל האנטישמים שנותנים להם במה וכל מיני מקומות. התכוונתי.
אוקיי, זכותך להגיד את...
אז אתה לא חושב שאנשים כמו רזיסטנס וכל אלה נאצים?
לא, בסדר, אני לא רוצה להגיע לאקדמיה, לנקודה אקדמית.
לא, זה לא עניין של אפידמיה, זה עניין של לזהות איפה שיש אנטישמים ויש הם אנטישמים. אתה יודע מה, אני החליט את זה, הם לא נאצים, הם נאו-נאצים, אוקיי?
אוקיי, אתה מבחין. הבעיה שאתה ואני מסכימים שהמילה ג'נוס היום נהיה כזה ממש watered down, שהם לא מבדילים בין קונפליקט וג'נוסייד. ואנחנו לא רוצים לעשות אותו דבר עם המילה נאצי, אתה מבין מה אני אומר?
אז אני שיניתי את המילה לנאו-נאצי, בסדר?
100%.
אז אתה יודע שבבחינת האקדמיה היום, לקרוא לבן אדם נאו-נאצי, זה לא מזיל את המשמעות של המילה נאצי ומה שהם עשו במלחמת העולם השנייה. אז נאו-נאצי זה בסדר, אנטישמי זה בסדר, אבל אני מסכים איתך בקטע הזה של המילה ג'נוסייד. אתה מסכים איתך במילה אחת.
Absolutely genocidal maniac. I have no dog in the fight. I'm not even a Jew. I was passing by and I heard him talking and he's just, he's batshit crazy. Black convert. He's apparently a black convert to Islam, and that's what I know about him.
People are angry.
Today I had a new argument. Basically, it was from some Arab Christian here in Amos room. It is basically goes something like the Jews need the United Nations resolutions, but the Arabs can absolutely kill and attack Jews without any justification or international law justification. Kid you not, he was saying it with a straight face.
I'm concerned that this current generation, and even the ones who are trying to defend Israel, either way, they're not informed. They just don't have the knowledge. They can't distinguish concepts. It's scary. I think it's just they don't read, they don't travel, I don't know what. But they don't talk.
I do my best, because of that reason. I really do. I just want you to know that I have nephews that are Jewish, and before that, I took a lot of care into understanding Israel as naturally, not forcing it, just letting it kind of unfold as I grow up. But I agree. I do agree.
So you know about Israel, and what conclusions have you drawn?
Well, you're always learning about Israel. And, the conclusion right now, as it stands, is they got to turn in Netanyahu. They just have to do some by any means necessary.
Honestly, it's really funny. You're actually
by any means necessary. Because of people like this guy. Because of people like them.
They turn in Netanyahu, it isn't going to the gain here. Just think about it. The genocidal maniacs, Arabs, they are still there. Hamas and its ideology, its murderous ideology is still there. The Muslim Brotherhood is still there. You are kidding, no one was saying, but by killing Netanyahu, you are going to end up the conflict on it to that effect.
It's the first step.
Who will you turn Netanyahu into? Who was there to turn him into?
The second step would be to represent your women in the government of Israel.
There are women in the government of Israel.
No.
In the Middle East, there's a female prime minister. They're equally represented.
Equally represented by the population. It has to directly.
They are equally represented in the country.
A 1-to-1 ratio.
That's not equal. They have the right to run for office if they want to. They have the right to run for office. If they are elected, they are elected.
Where in the world would you get off telling other foreign governments, like, you're pushing like DEI bullshit onto other countries?
No.
We don't do 1-to-1. What are you fucking talking about?
I wouldn't say this if I didn't.
That is some dumb shit.
My own country.
We don't do that here, sir.
Yeah, that's none of your business.
Necessary. He asked me what my conclusion was, and this
Who
is my
cares?
conclusion.
That's dumb.
Well, shit, that's my
That's just
fucking
dumb. Okay, that's okay. I can't listen to some dumb shit like that. Like, come up with some real shit.
That is some
That
real
is
shit.
dumb.
How are you going to stop men from dick measuring?
What the fuck are you talking
such a
about?
made up
You have to.
Why don't you go on the website? Why don't you go and look up? Why don't you go on the website on the internet and look up the Knesset members of Israeli Knesset? And you can count how many women there are. They're approximately like 5% or 7% or 10% or something like this of the Knesset. Why? Because that's the percentage of people that run for office. Those are the people that are women are fully entrenched in the politics on all the levels. And it is not a 1-to-1 ratio because that's just kind of fucking ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous. Why would you even ask that of a country? And we don't even do it here. Do you even like see your own fucking hypocrisy?
Well,
do you expect that of us? Do you expect it of Palestine?
It's
do you expect it of the Palestinians?
Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying
You
that
expect it of the
No,
Palestinians?
I didn't get it twisted. You got it twisted.
You expect it of the Palestinians? What are you saying?
Yes, I do. I expect this worldwide.
How come you expect it
We have to
worldwide?
lead by example. We have to lead by example because the world isn't doing this. And we're in
Because the world isn't going to do this. Because democracies don't do that shit. That's why the world isn't going to do it. Democracies don't work that way, sir.
Well, I'm actually curious. Like,
My God, take a serious.
Who would you believe? Who do you think that Israel should turn Netanyahu over to?
I haven't. I mean, to the ICC court, right?
What jurisdiction do they have? What jurisdiction do they have?
Well, I haven't really thought this far.
Yeah. So you're just saying words. You haven't thought.
I'm not just saying words. No, I haven't gotten this far. I don't know exactly who to turn him into. I haven't planned for ethnic cleansing like this. Maybe I should have. But I will research that.
Yeah, they don't have the jurisdiction to do shit. They can't take.
That's why he hasn't been taken in. Yeah, I know. But if Israel,
taken into where? Taken into where?
It comes down to this irony here about what the real issue is, that we all need to get along, right? I just figured I'd briefly, point that out. Maybe it's a bit cheesy, but we need to have that conversation,
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your contribution there, Steve. Let's go to Frank. Frank, how are you? Would you like a fresh five, my friend?
I would love a fresh five.
It's all yours, baby.
Okay, so two topics I want to address. One is I'm really excited about the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie also. I think it's synchronous, whatever you want to say, that it's also coming out at the same time this month or first part of next month, that a new Thomas Pynchon novel is coming out also. And there's a lot of, I think, synergy between the narratives that Paul Thomas Anderson does and Thomas Pynchon. So I'm very excited about that. He's one of of our real treasures as a writer in America. But I will also say I had to roll my eyes back into my socket after one of those last rants because, the whole idea of the left canceling versus the right canceling is just ridiculous. Charlie Kirk was a shithead, a fascist shithead. I mean, I'm not going to mince my words about it. And I have, he didn't want my empathy. He explicitly did not want my empathy. He explicitly endorsed gun violence. So I'm just going to say, have a nice day. I'm not going to have any empathy for him, and I'm not sorry about it. So that's my position on it. And yeah, looking forward to the new Thomas Pynchon novel.
Why don't you double down publicly on that, Frank?
I double down publicly on it all the time.
Hey,
my job is not contingent upon my free speech, so yeah.
Mountain, no crosstalk here, buddy. Sorry, that's rooms. I know that's acceptable.
Yeah,
we don't really do.
Yeah, I'll just let you know I double down on it 24/7, so it's not a problem.
Thank you for your contribution to the show. Frank, anything else?
No, that's it. Just saying that, I also don't live in America, so it's kind of my perspective slightly different. I live in a country where if you spoke the way Charlie Kirk did, you'd be in jail. So, and I appreciate that about where I live.
All right, there you go. Different strokes for different folks. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to Brad. Brad, would you like a fresh five, my friend?
Reverend Scott, I don't recall if we've had David speak yet, or I don't remember.
David did speak.
Okay, thank you. Then it's Brad. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that is so unfortunate for the previous speaker. I love it when the left just fucking cast off and says they're grateful. I mean, imagine somebody on the right saying they were grateful that, I don't know, 2 senators in Minnesota got shot. I don't recall hearing that. I don't recall anybody actually hearing that. I did see a lot of people cheer and clap when Donald Trump was shot. No, and then there was a second one, and then scream about how inept you guys are with guns. So I'm glad to see that the left is now pro-gun, and they're all about it. And all the gun violence that they've been talking about, I'm going to point to the previous speaker and say, you were happy about it. So guess what? We don't need to have a discussion on gun violence. We don't have to have gun safety talks because most of you don't even know firearms to begin with. You probably shoot yourselves before you figured out how to actually pull a trigger. So that that pretty much wraps up that stupidity. And I'm glad that a previous speaker does not live in the United States, because I can probably safely assume that whatever twat waffle welfare nation you live from that exists solely on the benefit of the United States, because you probably can't do very much on your own without us, seems to be pretty much the plight of the world. Again, it sucks being on top. It sucks being number one. But Americans, we definitely own that role, and we definitely tell you who you're going to call daddy, and you bend over and let us have our way. With that, a couple of other things. This hypocrisy about this is fascinating to me, because again, normally I would condemn it. So just like the person speaking about the previous speaker about the homeless encampments and screaming, Brian, kill me. You're absolutely fucking right. I thought it was disgusting. I even said so. I even said it in my conservative groups. We talked about it and said, oh, go fuck him. And he got bombarded with messages, not from the left, but from the right. He got bombarded with people from his own groups that were watching him. So they took him and told him, shut the fuck up, we don't like that. So it wasn't the left, it wasn't anything you did, it wasn't anything you said that had any impact on Kill Me. It was his own people that checked him and put him back in line, which is the same thing that happened to Pan Bond. It's the right that is putting people back in check because they're angry and they're swinging. Now, with the homeless encampments, what is ironic about this, what is fucking fascinating about this one, is that the landowner where the encampment was at, Habad, whatever, Usarif, or however you pronounce his name, actually a decent fucking guy. He's the owner of it. He was allowing the encampment there so that homeless people had a place to go ahead and live in Minnesota. And if you don't know anything about Minnesota, it gets fucking cold up there. And there isn't a lot of places where homeless people can go. And in fact, we have to round them up and put them in fucking places because the temperature drops below zero. So this owner was actually trying trying to help out and do some humanitarian good. He was doing something that many of you on the left just throw money at and want somebody else to fix the problem. This was the guy that was fixing the problem. Again, he has brass balls. I don't know where his votes were, but I'm proud to see somebody taking an active stance on an individual level, utilizing their own private capital and their own ingenuity to solve a problem and help homeless people. And he did that. But what you left off was the fact that there was a lot of drugs, there was different kinds of violence, and they had a massive amount of problems. But what was best is Jacob fucking Fry, Mr. BLM protester himself, Mr. Trump is a danger and a threat to democracy. He wants to upend any type of civil unrest. That motherfucker was the one, the loudest voice to protest against this man creating a camp. It was the city of Minneapolis and the state of fucking Minnesota that were trying to get this man to stop doing what he was doing. They were trying to do injunctions on him. They were trying to force him out. They were trying to get him to shut it down. So while you sit there and champion on that, you're fucking piece of shit, Mr. I'm a wartime hero Waltz, who never even fucking set foot in his hot zone, went to fucking Italy, tried to figure out how to eat baked ziti and gelato without wounding himself. He came back and saw his, like, now vice president material. Mr. fucking weekend guy himself and Jacob fucking Fry were the ones who shut down somebody actually solving a problem. But hats off to you guys. Hats off to you guys for, like, fucking actually cheering this shit on and trying to make it a MAGA issue, when in fact, what it was just a really decent fucking guy trying to make a difference in the world because he saw a problem and he wanted to fix the problem. And you guys, you on the left, once again, went against that and you shot that shit down, and then you blame the right. And then we tell you, hey, mental health is a problem. And I agree with you. Reagan was wrong. He shouldn't have cleared out all the asylums. But you don't fucking just throw money at it. And all of these programs that you want to do and ask for more money, they're not benefiting any of the people, as evidenced by the problem we just witnessed in Minneapolis. So maybe next time, check all the facts before you come up here and just going, it's all Trump's fault. Maybe deep dive into it, because that guy, that owner of that property, is a fucking American hero any way you slice it, because he was helping Americans in need. And that's the way I look at it. And that's probably the way you should look at it. And you should actually be condemning Jacob fucking Fry instead of trying to go after Republicans. I'll end there.
Brad, thank you, and a standing ovation for Bryn Scott.
Hey, Ralph, can I just say one thing?
Yeah, of course you can, sure.
Survey data shows that from most recent demographic survey stuff we have, I think this is YouGov stuff, Democrats, about 75% of Democrats contribute to charity. About the same. Republicans, it's about 77%. So this idea that liberals don't do anything, liberals and conservatives tend to donate about the same amounts. Independents are slightly lower, 64%. So it seems that there's not really a difference between liberals and conservatives as far as donating and not expecting government to do it.
Reverend Scott, thank you so much for taking care of the ship while I was taking care of IRL stuff. We have two new moderators on stage, Cora and Lynn, and I want to go to them after I play a clip if they want their fresh fives. Also, if you're in the audience, we've got exactly 32 minutes left, and this sucker shuts down. So come on up and talk about anything you want. I want to play a short clip, and we'll get to the mods. I played this on the Critical Thinking After Party. I believe it's relevant to Jimmy, to what we've been talking about, and Jimmy Kimmel being fired back a couple of decades ago. Larry Flint, publisher of Hustler magazine, was sued by Jerry Falwell, national pulpit leader believing in God, and he sued him not only for emotional stress, but basically wanted the magazine taken off the shelves. This is from The People versus Larry Flint, and it's Larry Flint's attorney Isaacman, arguing before the Supreme Court against this is the movie. So we'll play this, and then we'll see if our mods, both Cora and Lynn want to talk about. Don't go away, and we'll be right back. I think this is on point to our discussion.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court. One of the most cherished ideas that we hold in this country is that there should be uninhibited public debate and freedom of speech. Now, the question you have before you today is whether a public figure's right to protection from emotional distress should outweigh the public interest in allowing every citizen of this country to freely express his views.
But what was the view expressed in Exhibit A?
Well, to begin with, this is a parody of a known Campari act.
I understand. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, and more importantly, it was a satire of a public figure, of Jerry Falwell, who in this case was really a prime candidate for such a satire because he's such an unlikely person to appear in a liquor ad. This is a person that we are used to seeing at the pulpit, Bible in hand, preaching with a famously beatific smile on his face.
But what is the public interest you're describing? That there is some interest in making him look ludicrous?
Yes, Your Honor, there is a public interest in making Jerry Falwell look ludicrous, insofar as there is a public interest in having Hustler magazine express the point of view that Jerry Falwell is full of BS. And Hustler magazine has every right to express this view. They have the right to say that somebody who has campaigned actively against our magazine, who has told people not to buy it, who has publicly said that it poisons the minds of Americans, who in addition has told people that sex out of wedlock is immoral, that they shouldn't drink. Hustler magazine has a First Amendment right to publicly respond to these comments by saying that Jerry Falwell is full of BS. It says, let's deflate this stuffed shirt and bring him down to our level. Our level in this case being admittedly a lower level than most people would like to be brought to. I apologize. I know I'm not supposed to joke, but that's sort of the point.
Mr. Isaacman, the First Amendment is not everything. I mean, it's a very important value, but it's not the only value in our society. What about another value which says that good people should be able to enter public life and public service? The rule you give us says that if you stand for public office or become a public figure in any way, you cannot protect yourself or indeed your mother against a parody if you're committing incest with her in an outhouse. Now, do you think that George Washington would have stood for public office if that was the consequence?
It's interesting that you mentioned George Washington, Justice Scalia, because very recently I saw a political cartoon that's over 200 years old. It depicts George Washington riding on a donkey, being led by a man, and the caption suggests that this man is leading an ass to Washington.
I can handle that. I think George can handle that. But that's a far cry from committing incest with your mother in an outhouse. I mean, there's no line between the two?
No, Justice Scalia. I would say there is no line between the two because really what you're talking about is a matter of taste and not law. As you yourself said, I believe, in Pope versus Illinois, it's useless to argue about taste and even more useless to litigate. And that is the case here. The jury has already determined for us that this is a matter of taste and not a matter of law because they've said that there is no libelous speech, that nobody could reasonably believe that Hustler was actually suggesting that Jerry Falwell had sex with his mother.
So why did Hustler have him and his mother together?
Hustler puts him and his mother together in a example of literary travesty, if you will.
And what public purpose does this serve?
Well, it serves the same public purpose as having Gary Trudeau say that Reagan has no brain or that George Bush is a wimp. It lets us look at public figures a little bit differently. We have a long tradition in this country of satiric commentary. If Jerry Falwell can sue when there has been no libelous speech purely on the grounds of emotional distress, then so can other public figures. And imagine, if you will, suits against people like Gary Trudeau and Johnny Carson for what he says on the Tonight Show tonight. Obviously, when people criticize public figures, they're going to experience emotional distress. We all know that. It's the easiest thing in the world to claim, and it's impossible to And that's what makes it a meaningless standard. Really, all it does is allow us to punish unpopular speech. And this country is founded, at least in part, on the firm belief that unpopular speech is absolutely vital to the health of our nation.
Thank you, Mr. Isaacman.
All right, let's go to Cora. Cora, thank you for doing the heavy lifting as always. The show is better with you than without you. Would you like a fresh five, or are you good, Cora?
I'm good for now. I don't think I could possibly wake up enough this morning to deal with any of this crap. So
You got it, no problem. Let's go to Lynn. Lynn, would you like a fresh five, or are you good?
I'm good. It's really kind of pretty clear that there's no middle ground that anybody will ever possibly be able to come together on. And it's everybody's right and everybody's right. So that's the way it is, and that's the way I feel about it. So I'm done.
All right. Would any of the mod squad besides Reverend Scott like to comment? I'll go to Violet. Violet, would you like to comment at this point in time? We shut down at the top of the hour, 24 minutes. Violet, would you like to respond, or are you?
I'm good for the moment, Steve. Thanks.
Thank you. Matt, out in Connecticut, would you like to respond, or are you good? Matt is probably away. Let's go to JCC. Would you like to comment, or are you good?
Yeah, I support free speech, and I don't think what happened to Jimmy Kimmel applies as free speech violation, because it was said because of ratings and monetary reasons. So, and yes, he was employed. However, we're not aware of whether or not he violated the parameters of what they want him to keep him from saying and not saying, right? So I support free speech, especially when it does not incite violence among the public. So that's a good thing. So we got to protect our First Amendment rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if you're in the audience and want to come up, you got about 5 to 10 more minutes, and then it's going to become impossible because the show does have a hard stop, give or take, at 10 o'clock. Before we go to other speakers on stage, closing thoughts, burning desires, I heard Reverend Scott during his time talk about Kimmel either has or is going to file $1 billion lawsuit. Now, this is interesting because if indeed he has, or if he does, the first thing he will have to do is prove up his damages. Now, Jimmy Kimmel had a contract for $15 million a year. So, and that contract was scheduled to expire next year. So that would be, half of it, $7.5 million. Then, of course, it's his